Welcome to a quick introduction to the AIPRM Community Forum. Yes, this is a forum software that we're using, the most modern Discord, that replaced the Facebook community. And just within 2 weeks, we have more than tripled the number of users and tenfolded the exchanges and, of course, the content. But some people call communities like this old-fashioned because they're just used to chit-chatting on Twitter and Facebook. But the community forum of AIPRM is a lot more than that. And I encourage you to follow me through this little introduction guide. I'm not going to read the guidelines like a notary to you though, but I think you need to understand that this is very different from our expectation, and so I want to make sure that your expectation is also the right one. So first and foremost, this is a user-to-user support community. Everyone can write and everyone can read. You notice I'm not logged in, so this forum is publicly visible and it is indexed by Google, and we have a lot of traffic coming from Google already. After 2 days, more traffic to this forum than to the Facebook community in 2 months. What we want to do in this community is to talk about the prompt templates of AIPRM and exchange how to use them and how to write them. But also, AIPRM is the software. So the first thing that we made was this feature request forum. You have the power to request a feature, and if you're signed up, and you can sign up with your Google account in one click, you can vote. Depending on your contribution, depending on your trust level in the community, you have more votes. So that means you go and say, click, 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 I want them all, but you have to think, you have to digest what is suggested here. And maybe before I continue on the feature request forum, here's the first and most important rule. This is not a copy-paste community. We're not providing these one-sentence prompts. We're not providing you a solution prepared for you. This is for learning how to use AIPRM. This is for learning how to use the AIPRM prompt templates and for how to write them. So please try to analyze and understand everything. It starts with reading what have other people suggested already. You see, the feature for multiple prompts here was suggested and voted on by multiple people already. And before we launched the favorites in AIPRM Premium, I think we had 10 different suggestions here to introduce a way to favorite, to save, to mark a prompt. People don't read. I get it. This is why I'm doing this video. And you may be an exception, but please, when you're using the AIPRM community, read before posting. And we're deleting duplicate messages. We're deleting low quality messages that are completely incomprehensible to us as moderators. And we need to make sure that the quality of the forum is so that some external person can understand what's going on. So I also encourage you, for every category, like here, the feature request forum, there is an about page. And this about page here even gives you a blueprint of how you can write that feature request. There's a couple different types of people coming in for feature requests. So the first personality is the software developer. Might be a junior developer, might be a senior developer, it doesn't matter. But they come in with all these ideas and suggestions of how to actually build it in the software without ever having seen the software, without knowing about our IT architecture, about our infrastructure, our security concepts, you name it. So all these developers are very much appreciated for their ideas, but you cannot suggest how we build things if you don't know how we build things. You understand? And the other type of feature request is usually the type of how can I do this and that. And we have the prompt user questions The prompt user questions are a category to ask, how can I do this? How can I use this prompt for that idea? What prompts request web access? 0 at the moment. That's very simple. I think we had this question a couple times. Where did the mid-journey prompts go? I don't know. I've seen 35 yesterday. But these are the questions, the prompt user questions, where you go into AIPRM and say, oh my God, over 2,000 prompts. Which one is the right one for me? This is what goes into the prompt user questions. Check this out. And because we just mentioned Midjourney, look at this. We have a 30 here with the Midjourney, and then we got a category here, 35. So some 5 prompts that are apparently about Midjourney do not even have the word Midjourney in it, which gives you an idea why we may have come up with the idea. No, it was actually a user idea. The AIPRM verified prompts list is a user request, and we fulfill it. We go through all these prompts and filter out those that don't work and make a list and an improved version of the prompts for those who are happy to pay for this extra service. You're not required to do that, but you get the idea. With so many prompts and so many people actually publishing prompts, there's quite some junk in there. And this is what the user questions are about. A typical question in the user question forum would be, there are 35 prompts for Midjourney, but which one can I use to get this type of image, to get this type of style? That would be a user question. So for example, when we look at errors here, I think, where was that one? 4 different styles. So this, for example, is a good example for a prompt that creates different Midjourney prompts in different photo styles, illustration styles, a comic, a 3D rendering, you name it. That is not always the case. So this one gives you some ideas for different styles, but others may not. Yeah. So this is what goes into the prompt user questions. Now, you may also take a look at promote your AIPRM prompt. Not many people know this, but when you are here on the front page, when your prompt is listed in the first 4, 8, 16, you get thousands of clicks. This is a great motivation. You get a click here on this errors link, the prompt here link, thousands of clicks. This is the motivation for people to write really good prompts and keep them good. Like here, an update for version 5, for GPT-4, etc. And promoting your prompt is the next step. Making sure that you have a prompt that is not only linked, oops, what's that? A broken link, sorry, to the website. So this is something I need to go in. Let me move this one aside for later. And to give an example of the output for GPT-3.5, give an example for the output for GPT-4, and this is just 4 days old. So I published this prompt 4 days ago, and it's already outdated. And this is what AIPRM is about. The AIPRM prompt engineers have the responsibility to keep their prompts current. And many do, but many don't. So that's where the AIPRM verified prompts come in. The verified prompts have a much higher quality expectation. This is why they have their own prominent tab here. When you click on this, you see only the verified ones. But going back to the promote your AIPRM prompt category, this is where a user should get an idea. Okay, if I enter this, I get this. If I enter this, I get this. And these examples are crucial. So I remember this gentleman here writing a really interesting prompt, but he gave me this blurb and I had no idea what this is about. Okay, I can read all this, but what you can really do is in the teaser, explain what it does. So from a AIPRM prompt guideline view, create GPT prompts through a process of questions and answers may not ring a bell to everyone immediately. And type start to start the creator is also quite an obvious hint. Yes, okay, type start, but then what? And what I would like to see here as a user, and we see this in this example, is examples. Give me an example. So I don't have to log in to OpenAI, don't have to log into AIPRM, but actually can read this on the web. I can read this on my phone. And you see, we had quite a very fruitful discussion with many ideas of how to improve that whole description of the prompt. This is where you come in. Ask your questions. No question is wrong. Usually people jump to conclusions and give all kinds of advice. That could be wrong. It could be just not targeted. But if you have a question, what about this? What about that? I understand it like this. Is that true? This is the way to engage in the community. And the ultimate prompt generator, it turns out, is actually something just like that. And Mr. AI Marketing Plan has a lot of links to his prompt, and he gave screenshots. We encourage you to actually use the text, like in this example. Why? Because this is indexable. It's indexable in Google, it's indexable in the forum. But this is still great. You get an idea of what is going on. This is what this category is for. And many people come to the forum, jump to the general and say something like, hey, can you recommend a good prompt? Listen, please read and learn. When you go to promote prompt category, look at all of these things. Create $1 million sales email. Very good by Thru. Amazing feedback. Look at 500 views just to this very young, it's just a week old, week old post about his prompt. And I think there could be more examples in here. This is maybe so obvious to use because clicking on the $1 million sales email in just one click. When I start this in AIPRM, your product, service, or offer, you can just paste the link here or describe it. Okay, so I just type in my product, AIPRM Premium here, and it starts to work. Okay, I get it. Some prompts are so straightforward that you just have to try them and see immediately what's the outcome. But many prompts are not. And you may not notice, but when there is a teaser of one line or the prompt hint of one line, it doesn't mean that the prompt behind this is actually just one line. Many prompts have 20, 50, or 100 lines of text. That's the idea of having a prompt template. That's the idea of AIPRM. I think I've explained enough about the idea of how you as a prompt creator can promote your prompts, or how you as a user can go through this category and learn what are others providing, what's in there. So this is a natural extension of what you see here. One-liner teaser is necessary in this UI. But what I want to get to is to have a page about every prompt, explaining what the prompt does, give it examples. Okay, not just dumping a link. I'm sorry. This is a link to the prompt with the teaser of the prompt. You don't need that. Copy paste. What's that about? If I would be logged in, I would probably delete this, or at least write, please follow the guidelines. Because, like in all categories, we have a promote prompt category guideline. And this one is a long one. As you can see, we have a structure where you link to the prompt, what the prompt does, example output in GPT 3.5, in GPT 4, how you came up with it. And when you look at something like the code generator Kodai from Reality MOS, this is what we want to see. This is what you need to see to understand what it's about. Okay? And here we even have a version history of when the author, when the prompt engineer updates the prompt, of how this was improved. Now finally, let's go to the prompt engineering forum. The prompt authors. Rules. Before you go to a category, please read the rules. And we have this in the product, we have this in AIPRM, we have the prompt template authoring guidelines that we ask everyone to read. It's part of the legal terms and conditions. It's the reason why AIPRM has good prompts. We are policing so many submissions. We are deleting or changing prompt templates. When you have followed AIPRM from the original launch, you maybe remember that there were some people coming in with all types of spam. Oh my God, casino, forex, diet pills, emojis, all this typical web spam was in there. AIPRM is like a search engine for good prompt templates, and our job is very similar to engineers at a search engine of Google or Bing. We have to get rid of the spam for you. And when you're a prompt author, when you're a prompt engineer, and you don't follow these guidelines, you're not going to be published. Simple as that. And you're not going to get the traffic. So there's a couple people came in and said, yo, why should I actually publish my prompt? And this is what it's about. You get all this traffic, you get all this exposure, and we have a post just about that, explaining all the benefits. For the AIPRM verified prompts, we even have more benefits to offer, and this is a subject for a separate topic. By the way, for a quick pause, by now we've gone through so many categories here that you realize why we have a community forum and not just some stinking Facebook group, right? Where things disappear after a week. And we've run user communities and customer communities and Facebook groups, and I've always regretted that. Search and navigation are key to accessing all this information. I think you realize how important it is that we have these different dimensions here for prompt engineers, for users, and finally, also for people who may just start learning about AI and about prompt engineering. For example, we got this category that doesn't belong to us, in fact. It's for all those people that go in and say, my ChatGPT doesn't work, and they blame AIPRM for that. Usually, it's not AIPRM, it's when ChatGPT has an outage, which happens every day, or when some rogue plugins have a conflict. There are some low quality software pieces out there where people install multiple ChatGPT browser extensions and they cause all sorts of conflicts because they're built in a, let's say, in a not mature way, not in a stable way. So we had complaints about actually quite popular extensions, the Web ChatGPT extension or the Superpower extension and the ChatGPT for search engine. They all have something with ChatGPT in their names. So you can expect them to cause troubles. Maybe this is important. But going back, this is the category for complaints that should actually be complained towards OpenAI. AIPRM is not affiliated with OpenAI at all. So we're not running ChatGPT. We're running on ChatGPT. But you see, with all the limits, of course, people exchange their ideas, and we see how this 100 messages per 4 hour decreased. And of course, people talk about that. But going back to the prompt author questions. When you are writing a prompt, when you go here, click on Own, click on Add New Prompt Template. All these things here we have explained in the guidelines that I just showed you. The prompt template guidelines, where is it here? Again. This document here and a video is around for over 2 months. We explain every step here, every field you need to fill out, and still, there are still people who don't read. This is why I made a video for these guidelines. This is why I make another video like his here. I encourage you to read all of that, like every single word. I hate filler content, and I hate automatically generated ChatGPT content when it can be 5 sentences instead of 5 pages, right? Explaining the rules. But that might just be me. All of this is important. None of this is redundant. If you find something that is redundant, we'll remove it from this page or from the forum. And when you write new prompts, all these questions coming up, you go to the prompt author questions and you ask your question. What about the language? Can I write my prompt in Hindi? Can I write my prompt in German? Yes, absolutely. The only rule that matters to AIPRM is that user-facing text is English. Of course, nobody cared about the guidelines in the beginning, so we had German and French and all these different languages here. Nobody is the wrong word. Many people didn't care. So by now, all the prompts are moderated automatically to be English. If you try to write something in German here, it will not be possible to publish that. And there are many other quality rules that we've implemented over the last couple months, which is funny when you then hear someone saying that this is just a text file management tool or something like that. It's actually not easy to publish a high quality prompt by now if you don't follow the rules. So I think our engineers made a wonderful job. Folk story in Hindi, 1,000 words. Yeah, this is an example of a post that you should not make. What's that? This is not ChatGPT. Please write in English language your author questions. Prompts for doctors. Looking for useful prompt that can help doctors in their practice. What do you think? Is this the right category? No. This is what someone would post in the prompt user questions. So we're going to move this to the prompt user questions. The prompt author questions are questions like this. How can I allow the user to enter 2 prompts at once? And basically I want to allow the user to enter 2 prompts, code and programming language. How could I do that? And the answer to that is a feature request that we already have here for the multiple prompts, where they actually mean multiple prompt variables. So the language is not perfect, but we encourage you to try your best. And we will go in and rewrite or relink or explain. A lot of the work here in the forum is making sure that content is consistent. So don't worry, if you don't know the exact wording here, that's okay. We'll go in, moderate, and explain this. But this person here, this user, asking for 2 variables, code and programming, does have the same wish as this user. Where is it? Multiple prompts. Okay. For us at AIPRM, this is of course very important, very valuable to understand what you guys want to do or try to do. This is why I'm saying there is no wrong question. Nobody has a problem with questions being repetitive. If you don't know the exact wording, that's okay. We're gonna merge it. But please, as the forum community grows, there's more and more questions repetitive. You can always go in here and look, where's my affiliate program? How can I make money? You see here, this is the link. Here's multiple prompts, multiple inputs, multiple topics, multiple steps to create big documents. That is an interesting one here from Marcus K. Having multiple prompts cascaded. That's an advanced prompt author question. While you may be the user using all these prompts, the people that are writing these prompts have a lot of questions too. And this is what the prompt author questions is about. So just so you understand, we try to cater to both of you. People having the tremendous benefit of maintained prompt templates here, and people writing these prompt templates to begin with. And if you're new to AIPRM, you may not realize this, but there are hours, days, or even weeks in development and maintenance for a prompt like this. for this, to make it work cool, to give you amazing output. They're not perfect. Just like software, prompts are the new source code. Just like software, they need maintenance. And when you switch between the default GPT-3.5, the legacy GPT-3.5, and GPT-4, many prompts that I have looked at work differently. So this adds a new layer of complexity. And AIPRM and the AIPRM prompt engineers help you save time to figure things out, how to get great results. So you don't have to. Not everyone is a prompt engineer. Not everyone is an AI prompt whisperer. And in fact, over 650,000 users of AIPRM, we only have a couple thousand that are writing prompts. So most of you are using them. And you're using them for free. And you're getting the tremendous value of how others develop the prompts for you for free. This is maybe an important reminder of what it's all about. And sharing these prompts is a very great offer by all the people who are sharing their prompts. They are working for free for you. They're writing the prompts so you don't have to. So give them some credit, visit their websites. And I know some of these websites may be spammy, may look like, okay, this one is behind the login wall of Midjourney because Eris has linked his profile. Okay. We have others that have linked their website, their agency website here. And that's okay. That's what the author links are for. We don't allow, obviously, spammy, questionable content behind here. But I encourage you, so for instance, this author, Jay Uma, here has an own little community here behind her link. That's okay. That's how prompt authors get their rewards. And when you go back to the forum, we're not done yet. There's so much more changelog. We publish for every version that we release an at least short post with what has changed, so you can understand the improvements that we made to the AIPRM software. The announcements, when we have a system maintenance or a great business success, like here, the first 1,001 paying customers, we post about that in the announcements. But also, before we published Custom Power Continue or the AIPRM verified prompts, we wrote about that days ago, or weeks ago actually. Very high level important updates about the AI industry. When GPT-4 was launched, or when Google introduces their new Palm E API. This is what we collect here. This is not for the average chit chat you find on all these newspapers and all the AI experts on LinkedIn. We just try to link to the actual paper. Like here, Visual ChatGPT is a paper by Microsoft with a GitHub repo. So this is more for the engineers, more for the scientists. For you as a user, this may seem not interesting, and that's okay. So just so you understand what we try to follow here. And he said, she said forums, we got enough on Facebook and LinkedIn. This is more a collection of important, really important industry changes. What we have here is a couple news mentions. Oh yeah, if you are a user of AIPRM Premium, of course, we have a separate category just for that. Some people also express that they have problems accessing the software because it's all new. You can always mail our support, but usually we can very quickly solve problems here within a couple seconds and improve over time. Also, the new AIPRM Elite plan is something that we just announced after the launch of the premium plans. Pricing discussions and questions. What do I get? Can I enter my VAT ID, discount coupons, you name it. And of course, finally, here is a general category. If you don't have an idea of, after this video, if you don't have an idea where to write something, then please tell me, because I'm gonna make another video. But this is what the general category is for, where people don't know or don't care and just post something. AIPRM not working. Okay, all right. Future of free version, graphics, GPT-4 content. Where's Ammon, our moderator? This is quite a mix, and for something that is still, let's say, doesn't fit well, but is a little bit more philosophic, we got the random thoughts category, where I usually post my morning shower thoughts. So you get the idea. We got moderators, and we got everything here where you can go over all the threads, but I encourage you to always click on the category page where you see all these different categories listed with a brief explanation. So that was quite a bit to talk about. I hope this was useful. If you have any questions, just post it as a comment in the community. Site feedback and updates is what this is for. We may find your comment if you post it somewhere on YouTube or Twitter, you name it. But if you really want to make your message being read, being heard, please post it here in this specific site feedback and updates, where you can talk about which forum software we're using, or I want to suggest that this and that category would be important, etc. This is where we collect your feedback, where it would most definitely be read and talked about, right? I think over half an hour is enough now, and I hope this was useful again, and yeah, hope to hear from you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.